What if I told you we used to wear about 3 pairs of underwear? Well, you better believe it, because fashion has revolutionized that we only have to wear one. I have done an extensive amount of research and been able to see this change and evolution in history throughout my 19 years of life. Throughout this time that I have your attention, I will discuss how fashion has changed both in its comfortability and functionality in the workplace environment, but also a way for self-expression, and how advertisements have changed for these said products and how they try to get us to buy these products from then to today. First, I will talk about how factory workers and how they changed the fashion industry for us and how we can thank them for that. The new fashion era revolutionized the term ready to wear. As we can recall, this fashion called for many layers and many undergarments and just lots of clothing, lots of tying, lots of preparation went into getting ready for the day. But simply, we can get ready for the day with a t-shirt and some slacks. As I said, we can thank the factory workers for this revolution, because in a Cornell article written by D'Angelo in 2017, he explains how this improvement for safety and better quality was very important for the factory workers, because they were working 40 plus hours a day, so they needed clothing that was going to last as long as they were working, but also because they needed stuff that was going to be good quality. Who doesn't want good quality clothing? But also, there was a lot of accidents that were happening because of the said clothing that they were wearing. Now, as we know, there were so many layers and how it kind of got bulky. Now it was getting caught in machines, and that wasn't really good because that was causing accidents, and that led to factories losing more workers. So they needed more form-fitting clothing so that accidents wouldn't happen, so that they could keep their workers. But an unfortunate fact from the fashion 1900s is that, and it's very unfortunate for today's times, is that 95% of clothing was being made in America. We see a big turn now in that only 2% of clothing is being made in America. But with quality improving, self-expression was now taking a hand. Self-expression was originally created from the queer people of that time, and fashion was originally an identifier for them. Fashion was being made in such an abundance, and it was becoming more accessible, so it started becoming a way for people to express themselves. A study by Boss Kruger in 2020 quoted Richard Van Cross in that identity wasn't the only inner quality, but could be discerned from appearance. Now, what I think he's trying to say in this is that you could simply tell someone's identity by simply looking at them. Now, let's take an example, someone who's part of the queer community. Now, they tend to dress more androgynous, more fashion forward, and we kind of looked at that and like, hey, they probably identify the queer community. And yes, and that's because they actually keyed this self-expression antidote. Now, I believe every word of that is still true today, that we can simply look at someone and simply tell what their sexual identity is. And it was only said in 1965, but we can take an example, a homeless person, for example. Now, simply by looking at their appearance, we can tell their identity being a homeless person. They tend to be a little more rough around the edges, a little more dirty, so their clothing tends to represent that. Now, self-expression was a key part in fashion, but it also became a way for advertisements and how marketing products have changed in getting us to buy these products. And yes, ads are very relevant to the times and age and the people they're trying to sell to. Advertisements having been relevant to the times and age, we can go back and look at our factory workers for a second. We can see actually in a picture from Illustration of 100 Years of Fashion by Blackman, published in 2021, and it actually shows us a picture of a man in a black coat, an actual ad, and it has the words ready to wear and good for ventilation. Now, this is really important because people who are buying these products, they need clothing that's going to be very good for ventilation and ready to wear, because as I said, they were working 40 plus hours and they were working in buildings sometimes with no windows. And also they were working with people, lots of people, and as well as machinery that was functioning 24/7, and it would tend to get hot in there. So they need good ventilation because they were in there so long. They didn't want to pass out. They needed something with good breathability. But also ready to wear. We don't want to be getting ready for the day at 5 in the morning. We want all the sleep we can get because we are working 40 plus hours. So we need something where we can wake up, we can put it on, and we can go. Now, I believe that's still true to today. But we can see ads today being marketed very different. We can see actually just pretty much half naked people trying to get us to buy these products, and sometimes with the words as seen on TV, as seen on this show, as seen on this show. Or sometimes we can see our favorite celebrities wearing these said products. And because we are such an internet-based generation, this kind of advertising works for us. Now, if we see a celebrity that we look to for inspiration and we look to for advice and they're wearing this clothing and they're talking it up, we want to buy that because we look to those celebrities for this. And that's exactly how marketers try to get us to buy their products, and that's how it works. And it does work, and it is successful because we all buy it. Hate to say it. But in conclusion, fashion has both changed the quality and functionality of clothing, but it also has changed a way for people to express themselves and have fun with it, not stick to boundaries anymore. But also how advertisements have changed and how it's changed for both fashion and also changed for technology and marketing and advertising and the consumers as well. So the next time you put on a regular old t-shirt and not think much of it, don't take it for granted, because a lot of years and a lot of evolution and advertising has gone into that t-shirt just so that you would buy it.